Hello, hello. This is Kathryn Yarborough, and I am here at the Vibrant Entrepreneurs Gathering with our special guest, Krystal Hille, all the way from Australia. And we're going to chat for about 10 minutes. Welcome, welcome. We get to hear whatever it is that she wants to tell us. And the Vibrant Entrepreneurs Gathering happen once a month on the second Monday of the month. If you want to find out more, go to manifestingclientsacademy.com. So, my friend Krystal, what do you want to talk to us about today?
Oh, thank you so much for having me. And I just love your community. You attract such amazing women. So I'm very honored to be here. What do I want to talk about? I was thinking, okay, so what would be valuable for everybody and to also get to know each other better? So I want to talk about author archetypes and how they can help you to really tap into, maybe if you have a love-hate relationship with writing, really help you to activate your inner author archetype so that it becomes easier. Because when we know ourselves, we can deal with our strengths and we can deal with our weaknesses much, much better. So I want to give you a quick overview. But before I do, I'd also love to hear who here has written a book already. I know one of you in the breakout room was already in there, and I can't see all the faces. So maybe just type it one in the chat. Who here has already got their own solo book out there? Kathryn, I know you've got yours, and Shelley, I saw your hand. That's exciting. Julie as well. Put a 2 in the chat if you've been in a compilation book or multi-author book and you're a published author with a chapter. Or how many hands do you need, Kathryn? Lots and lots of them. Beautiful. Sandra, Carol. And who here has been kind of playing with the idea, thinking I really need to become an author because it's going to help my business, going to put me out there, but it's a bit overwhelming. I don't know where to start. I don't have the time or the energy. Who's in that kind of category? Put a 3 in the chat.
I'm three. Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Sandra as well. So there's a couple. Yeah, in process of complications. Okay, yes. Of compilation, not complications. Sorry. Beautiful, Carrie. Nice. Yes, absolutely. So, and then of course there would be category 3, 4 if you've already done a book, but you think, you know what, my business really needs a boost of visibility, so I should do it all over again. That's another thing, right? Because I have people in my who come back into compilation books because there's a different angle that they can take on their story and in their business. Wonderful. So, Kathryn, have I talked to you about the author archetypes before?
Well, maybe I've heard a little bit about the author archetypes, and I'm not very familiar with them, and I'm really curious. Of course, I know about archetypes like the sage woman and the what is it, the wizard, stuff. What is it from Jungian psychology, right?
Yes, yes,
Are we
that's
coming
right.
from that? Is that where is that where you're coming from or something else?
That's kind of where I'm coming from. It was really interesting how they came to me because I was thinking, well, I need to create a quiz for my business. I want to create a freebie. I know quizzes work. So what on earth am I going to do? And so then I was thinking, well, archetypes is something that's very universal that we can all relate to and that might be easy to create. And then I thought, well, I need 4. I don't want too many. I need to plug into an existing system that is universal. So I'm combining archetypes with elements. So
Like the
because the
seasons
elements
or
have
the yeah, or the like
the
wood,
the fire,
water.
earth, yes,
Okay.
fire, earth, water, and air, because they all have different qualities and they're very universal, and we all have them within us. And the interesting thing is we all need all of them to be holistic and whole. But of course, we all have our own preferences. So I'll tell you what I came up with that I kind of just streamed through, and having worked with now over 200 authors in compilation books and also solo books, I found out what their strengths and weaknesses are. So it kind of became easy to put my existing clients, combine that with the elements, and come up with these archetypes. And I love them. They're really exciting. And so I've created, with my coaching background and NLP, I've created some activations as well to help people balance out the archetypes within them. So the first one is the earthy empress. It's that person who's really grounded. they're very good at planning. We talked about planning earlier. They're very good at planning. They love structure. They love a framework. And that's their strength. Their weakness is that they actually don't get out of planning, and they keep on planning forever, fine-tuning it, and they actually don't start writing. So they're a little bit of a perfectionist and don't kind of get on with the next stage.
I can see
Then
that
we've got,
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I was
yes,
just
go
going to say, I
ahead.
can see that as for entrepreneurs as well. There are people who are just in the planning, and don't get out of that and actually go out there and attract clients. So I
Yes.
wonder if there's some crossover. And it might have to do with the modality, like writing, you think you have to plan, but business, you don't. Anyway, interesting. Let's keep going.
I think it will. Absolutely. Because the elements are universal, right? They apply across the board. So when we're one personality type, then I think that applies both to writing, but as well to business. Yes. So the second one I want to talk about is let's go to the opposite, the fiery charismatic. Now that's, the words already express that. That's the type of person who's the center of a party. They always have a story to share. You imagine a campfire, they sit around the campfire and they attract everyone and they engage everyone. So that's their strength. They're very good at bringing people in, involving people in their stories, in their missions. Their weakness is that once we get out of their sphere of influence, come back into ourselves, we can sometimes be a little bit overwhelmed. We have lost ourselves in their story and we haven't created that link back to ourselves. So it can be a bit overwhelming. We kind of get sucked into their life and their story, but we're left empty afterwards. Narcissists are a typical example that I believe fall into that category as well, just to broaden it out. But they're excellent at sharing stories and engaging their audience. What they need to emphasize is the airy wizard. That's the person, the air element is a perfect teacher. They are very good at explaining things, at simplifying complicated concepts, and making things simple. Their weakness is that they stay in the abstract. They don't let people see themselves. They don't let people into them. They don't share about themselves. They kind of hide behind that persona of, I'm the teacher, I'm the expert, I know what I'm talking about, but nobody really gets to know them. So they need, they need a bit of fire to bring their theories to life, and vice versa. Then we've got the water element, and I call that the watery mystic, because water is all about the emotions. When you have fire, it kind of gets a bit too hot. So the water provides depth and it grounds things. And if you are the watery mystic, you often write and process your emotions through writing. And the watery mystic can get quite overwhelmed. There's a flood of emotions coming out, and they can get quite overwhelmed and lost in their own writing because there's just so much, but they process their emotions. They often cry when they write. So what they need is, they need to have the earth to kind of give them the framework first before they kind of just open the floodgates. But, everybody needs that, because it really, when we as writers feel what we're sharing, we're eliciting emotions in the reader as well. So we need, as you can see, we need all of that. We need all four elements.
So let me make sure I get this. The earth, in terms of writing, because that's really what you do, and I want to just highlight that. So in terms of writing, the earthy empress is great at planning. The fiery charismatic is really good at that storytelling and getting people all into, the drama kind of stuff, or in the. And then the airy wizard teaches with the writing. So resonate with teaching concepts and ideas. And then the fourth, the watery mystic, just gets into their feelings. So are they challenged by actually writing something that someone else would want to read? Because I know when I'm writing about my feelings, I don't know if anybody would want to read it. Or are there people, examples who use feelings and are good writers?
I think they are definitely good writers, because they have an ability to engage the reader in such a way that it connects the reader to their own emotions.
Oh, right. Okay.
That's why we need the water. But yes, you're absolutely right. And I always say, when you're writing, the first draft is always for you, no matter what archetype you are. It's like you just got to get it out, and then you shift the lens to the reader. What is in it for the reader? And of course, if you're very much a planner and an earthy empress, you may not need the first draft because you already have your lens set for the reader. But sometimes it's still good to get it out for yourself, so you get over the writer's blocks and you stop having such big expectations of yourself, so that's always what I say to my writers. Get the first draft, is just for you, and then we're shifting the lens. Of course, we want to know what the core message is that we're going to write about.
Yeah.
But then just write.
So, Krystal, thank you for sharing this about your archetypes, but also what you just talked about the last minute and the tips that you just shared with us about writing and getting it out. That is so useful for all of us who want to write. Thank you. Thank you. Do you have something you want to invite anybody here to do with you that's coming up?
Yes, I do. So I've got a book coming up, a multi-author book. It's called Beyond Conditioning: Living Life on Your Terms. And it's the perfect one for what I call the sacred rebel, the change makers who have made a change in the world. But beyond that, for everyone, I'm opening up my calendar to book an author archetype activation session, just a 30-minute session where you can discover what that is for you, and I'll teach you the tips of what to do to balance all of them within you, for you specifically and personally. And then we can also talk about where you're at in your writing, what you may need my help with, and if there's an alignment to work together. But I really just wanted to share, like, I'm leading with that value and that connection. So I'll put that in the chat. Is that the best way to do it?
Yes, please put it in the chat. And Krystal, so I know you, just one last question before we wrap this piece up. So I know that you have these compilation books, but do you also help people who are not in a compilation book just write whatever they're looking to write for whatever reason?
Absolutely. So I actually have a group, a solo book incubator, where it's a 6-month program, and people who are really feeling, okay, I really just need some help, accountability and support and the tools to do it. They come in and we have group sessions and I help them to write. And of course I could do that individually as well. And then I have publishing packages for people who have finished books, finished manuscripts, or even previous ones, and they want to do a bestseller campaign on it. I can help with that too.
Excellent. Thank you. That is so awesome. So, oh my goodness, let's give it up. Unmute yourselves, y'all. Let's give it up and hoot and holler for Krystal for being here and sharing. Yeah, Krystal. Thank you
Thank you so much.